The night I left my husband for a man I called my future, I didn't pack angry. I packed curated. 3 dresses I thought made me look like a woman who knew what she wanted, 2 pairs of heels that clicked like confidence, a toiletry bag that smelled like peonies and denial. I zipped the suitcase like I was closing a chapter and texted, "I'm staying at Mia's for a few days," because lies are easier to carry than luggage. The future was Ethan, my product manager. Tall, dry humor, the kind of steady eye contact that makes you feel like the most important item on his roadmap. We'd worked late together for months, the way people do when a launch turns every evening into one long to-do list. Somewhere between QA tickets and catered Thai food, I started telling him the story of my marriage like a spreadsheet. What was working, what didn't, what I couldn't get on the same page about with Daniel. I left out the columns where I was petulant and impatient and addicted to being impressive. Daniel is not a rooftop jester man. He's a fix the dripping trap under the sink after work man. He's a text your mom back before she spirals man. He is also the man who held me when I sobbed in the IKEA parking lot because the couch we wanted was out of stock. He rubbed my back in slow circles and said, "We'll check next week." I loved him for 3 years, and then I got bored with how reliable love can feel when you don't guard your brain. So when Ethan said, half joking, "If you were single, we would be dangerous," I let the sentence land instead of brushing it off. I said, "What if?" And he said nothing for a long time. Then he said, "We should be careful." We were not. We did all the "it's not cheating if" acrobatics. If it's only lunch, if it's only texts, if it's only a hotel bar after the customer dinner because the team's there, too. The bar was crowded and the lights were flattering, and my ring felt heavy. He put his hand on the small of my back like a question. I answered with a kiss small enough to deny and big enough to break, something you can't name. I went home and showered for a very long time and told Daniel I was exhausted from Q4 madness. 2 weeks later, I told Daniel we should separate. I said phrases a therapist might say if a therapist were drunk. We've grown in different directions. I need to find myself. I can't do this version of us. I tried to make it sound less like a bomb and more like a pivot. Daniel set the dish towel on the oven handle and wiped his hands slowly. "Is there someone else?" he asked. He doesn't speak like a prosecutor. He speaks like a civil engineer deciding if a beam can carry a load. "No," I said. The word was small in my mouth, like a tablet you swallow without water. He held my eyes longer than comfort would allow and nodded like he'd already drawn 2 versions of the plan, the one where I told the truth and the one where I didn't. "I'll email you tonight," he said, voice even. "Let's keep it simple." The email came at 9:18 p.m. Subject: Immediate logistics/boundaries. "I'll move to my brother's for now. You can stay in the apartment through the end of the month. I'll remove my card from utilities on the 1st, links below to add yours. We're month to month. If you want to keep the place, you can. If not, please sign the 30-day notice by the 15th. Attached. To avoid fees. I'll collect my things Saturday 10 to 12 with a friend. No need to be here. If that doesn't work, propose 2 windows by email. Please keep texts/calls to logistics only. We're separating is all friends and family need to know. I won't discuss details." He signed with D. It felt like the end of a chapter, and also the whole book. I went to Ethan's place with my curated suitcase and the adrenaline of a woman who has burned a bridge and expects a private beach on the other side. He opened the door in a soft t-shirt, and that gentle expression I'd turned into a destiny. We ate takeout on his couch and watched a doe-eyed prestige show we pretended to follow. At midnight, when the credits rolled, he muted the TV and said, "We need to talk about expectations." My stomach dropped like an elevator. "I care about you," he said. "But you need to do this cleanly. Separate, divorce, figure out your life. We keep work professional. I can't be your rebound or your relapse. HR will eat me alive." "I left my husband," I said, stunned. "For you." "No," he said, and the word was both kind and surgical. "You left your husband for a version of yourself you think I prove exists. I'm not signing for that package. I slept on his couch that night because dignity isn't a function you can just call. It's a practice you forget when you need it. In the morning, he made coffee, handed me a mug like a treaty, and said, "Please don't put me in the middle of your divorce." Then he kissed my forehead in a way that felt like euthanasia and texted me a list of therapists his sister liked. It turns out, when you choose someone over your marriage, they do not become your spouse by default. They become the person who tells HR they're switching teams. Saturday at 10 a.m., Daniel came with his friend Miguel. I did what he asked and wasn't there. When I returned, the apartment was smaller in the exact places he had filled. His side of the closet empty, the chess set gone, the toolbox missing from the hall closet. On the dining table sat a printed sheet titled split/keep/donate with boxes checked in pencil. He'd left the cast iron, yours. Season your way. Taken the espresso maker, mine. Gift for my sister. Split the wine glasses evenly. His spare key lay in a Ziploc with a sticky note, USPS forwarding set. Right forwarding in place on any strays. He had removed himself without removing his decency. People say there are two sides to every story. Sometimes there is your side, his side, and the email trail that politely refuses to lie for you. In the first week, I did the predictable tour of emotional alibis. It was just bad timing. We were stuck. Everyone makes mistakes. Ethan is different. I deserve to be seen. Each sentence felt true for about 15 minutes. Then I'd open Daniel's email again and see the absence where outrage could have been and feel nauseated by the quiet standard he was setting. You do not have to become your worst self just because someone hands you the opportunity. Ethan texted every other day like an HR-safe metronome. Thinking of you. Hope you're taking care. He did not ask where I was staying. He did not suggest I move in. He attached a link to a mindfulness app and a screenshot of a book about attachment styles. I wanted to throw my phone into traffic. I wanted to be proven worth someone's career risk. Instead, I got a link to how to sit with feelings. At work, our VP resourced the team and Ethan transferred to another product line to foster independence. HR scheduled separate check-ins. No complaint has been filed, the HR manager said, but we have to ensure the environment stays professional for everyone. She said professional like holy. I nodded. I bought a blazer on sale to look like a person who knew what she was doing. 2 weeks into my new life, Daniel sent a second email. Subject, financial separation/mediation option. I opened a separate checking account. Through end of month, I'll split rent/utilities as agreed. After that, please remove me or let's terminate the lease. I'm filing for no-fault divorce. We can do mediation to keep this simple. I've attached 3 neutral mediators. Pick one by Friday or I'll pick. Please do not contact me outside email. I won't participate in triangles. I'm not angry. I'm done. I Googled no-fault state divorce mediation like a woman researching a procedure she'd thought she'd never need. It was all so boring and adult. Forms, disclosures, a mediator who says let's stay and I statements. I wanted grand gestures. I got calendar invites. The night before our first mediation session, I impulse texted Daniel anyway. Please, can we talk instead? I made a mistake. I want to come home. The little not delivered exclamation point popped up like a red stoplight. I tried email. I miss you. I chose wrong. Ethan isn't. I stopped. My therapist had warned me not to weaponize self-awareness.
Isn't. I'm sorry.
I'd like to try counseling. If that's not on the table, I understand. Daniel replied the next day, counseling would have been before you moved out for someone else. I wish you well.
No accusation.
Just sequencing. Ethan drifted further. He stopped the thinking of you texts and replaced them with silence. If we passed in the hallway, he did the neutral nod you give to a person you don't want to put on the spot. I told myself I respected him for his boundaries. I also hated him for letting me fall on my face without grabbing my elbow. In storybooks, the man you blow up your life forgives you a new life. In reality, he goes to a different stand-up and keeps shipping. My mother called and said, Habibti, come for dinner. She made lamb and rice and cut the fat off my portion because that's how she loves. I told her, we're doing mediation. She said, you always wanted things fast, and kissed my forehead like a blessing and a bruise. My father, who thinks feelings are something you do in private and results are something you do in public, asked if I needed help moving. He meant boxes. He also meant out of my own head. Mediation was a room with a long table and too many tissues. The mediator was a woman with a calm voice and earrings that looked like tiny planets. She set ground rules, and we agreed not to use the room to bleed. We divided the couch and the air purifier and the remaining wedding gifts we hadn't regifted to cousins. We set a date to terminate the lease and split the deposit. We RSVP'd to our own, ending with signatures in blue ink. When it was done, I wanted to vomit and nap and dye my hair. Instead, I walked around the block and didn't text anyone. A week later, I saw Daniel outside the hardware store, carrying a roll of weather stripping and a small snake plant. He nodded once. I nodded back. I pictured walking over and saying, I get it now, and pictured him saying, I know, and pictured some movie ending at our feet. He put the plant in the passenger seat, buckled it. Of course he did. And drove away without checking if I needed absolution. If you want to keep score, he wins. He wins by not humiliating me. He wins by filing paperwork instead of posting quotes. He wins by asking for no triangles and actually living like a line. He wins by refusing to compete with a fantasy. He wins by moving forward without turning me into a hobby. I kept waiting for the day Ethan would circle back, some grand, I've been thinking, speech with weather metaphors and a promise to do the work. It didn't come. What came were meetings, rent, a mattress on the floor in my friend Mia's spare room, and the slow discipline of owning the sentence. I left the man who loved me for validation that evaporated the second it was asked to be a home. If there is a moral, it's not Instagram ready. It's about sequencing and sentences. If you're lonely, say lonely. If you want more attention, ask your partner to look at you, and then make sure you're looking back. If you think you need a new life, build it with the person who promised to help, not with the person who makes you feel like a son for 15 minutes by the kitchen fridge. And if you leave, leave for yourself, not because someone at work gives you sparkle you didn't earn. Daniel will be okay. He'll label storage totes and measure the window for new blinds and maybe, one day, tuck someone else under a blanket on a couch that didn't exist when I knew him. He'll listen to a woman who tells him a boring truth and he'll light up because he's held together by the kind of glue you can't see. He will not, I am almost sure, take me back. That's the part where he wins and I learn. And me? I'm learning to want the kind of life that looks like nothing on camera and feels like everything when you turn out the lights. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. She chose her office crush over the husband who loved her. And when the fantasy faded, he didn't beg. He set boundaries and moved on. If you want more, ask for it. Don't trade your marriage for a maybe. If you like this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks, and see y'all tomorrow.